Igbo Area TV on Igbo.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, and depend on your time zone. There is this thing the Niger Deltans, especially Ijaws, are holding against the Igbos, and I think it's better we resolve it. I've looked into several materials on that, and would like us to see this one too. This is not my report, but for the sake of deliberations, I have to borrow it. Who killed Adaka Boro? Why the blame on Igbo, accusing them of betrayal? Was Adaka Boro betrayed? According to this report, it said, I have read many false history that breeds hatred against the Igbo regarding Adaka Boro. A majority of Ijaw believe Igbo betrayed Adaka Boro and killed him. This makes me laugh. Ignorance is a disease. A lack of history. Mass is just shuddering in disbelief that people can be so gullible to peddle falsehood. For what gain? Let's go to history. Who is Adaka Boro? Isaac Adaka Boro was a University of Nigerian soccer student. He was also the SUG president of the said university. He failed election 2 times before he won, then blamed his failure on Igbo, claiming he lost because he was Ijaw and suffered tribalism in his region. Remember, Adaka Boro was enjoying the scholarship of Eastern Region government. He was on free education. He heard from Oloidiri Bielsa, and he was the first person to declare secession in 1966 at the age of 27. Adaka Boro's rebellion was sponsored by the Tafawa Balewa government. Tafawa Balewa government believed that the NCNC and AG were sponsoring the thief unrest, the thief, whatever you call it, and the UNBC are led by Joseph Taka. And to deal with NCNC, Adaka Boro was sponsored to cause insurrection with his boys. They began to destroy things. Adaka Boro used his father's backyard as a training ground to arm his boys. As Ironsi took over, through MD Yusuf, CID chief, he noticed that the Adaka Boro insurrection was Balewa's plan. He issued military order and Boro was arrested and incarcerated for 2 weeks. Remember, he was causing this unrest before the coup. After the January coup, where one of his key sponsors, Tafawa Balewa, was killed, Boro was very angry. He called Tafawa Balewa the projector of Ijaw. Adaka Boro declared Ijaw Republic on February 1966, a month after the coup, and he was so radical and courageous that as a student, he dragged the federal government to court, and he was seeking the nullification of the 1963 general election. When he proclaimed the Niger Delta Republic in February 1966, Boro argued that the region where the nation's wealth comes from has suffered years of neglect and underdevelopment. But scholars believed this was not the main reason of declaring the Niger Delta Republic. Have you asked yourself why the Niger Delta elders, including his father, didn't support him? See the reasons according to reviews by scholars. South African anti-apartheid activist and scholar Ruth First, as quoted by Catherine Nwajiako, states that Boro and his men were in league with senior northern officers and had wanted to use the threat of revolution to trigger the imposition of a state of emergency by the Northern-led federal government prior to the first coup. Before the January coup, Adaka Boro and his men were already sponsored by the Fulani Caliphate to cause insurrection. His brother confirmed this. David, his younger brother, during an interview with Punch, said that his brother received support from the North before the declaration of a Niger Delta Republic. He said Isaac Boro did not just start the 12-day revolution and decided to declare a Niger Delta Republic. He said there was some degree of encouragement from the North. He said Boro himself admitted to having close ties with the Balewa government. The question is, how did 27-year-old undergraduate student have funds to secure weapons, mass out-talk, and militia? Was he being supported by the elders of Ijaw? David, his brother, continued, "Our father advised him against it and told him to face his studies because he was a student." Adaka Boro did not just declare Niger Delta Republic. He was fighting the federal government under the leadership of Agirunsi through his Niger Delta Volunteer Force. He believed that the regime must be dissolved. The northern leaders funded him to attack the government. NDVF and the Nigerian forces, which is widely known as the 12-day revolution, led to the death of over 150 people. The armed militia led by Boro was overpowered by the Nigerian forces, while Boro and Samuel Owonaru, who was the chief of staff of the Niger Delta Volunteer Force, and other leaders of the militia were arrested and charged for treason. When they appealed before Justice Phil Ebosia of the Port Harcourt High Court, he said they were sentenced to death, but the sentence was commuted to life in jail. Remember, they didn't just declare independence, but fighting federal forces and killing people. A year later, following the 1966 Igbo pogrom in Kano that killed over 50,000 Igbo, and after the series of counter-coup which killed the first military head of state, Agirunsi, and also after the Abure Accord disobeyed by GOWON, Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu declared Biafra, and he was being forced by Eastern Region Consultative Committee. Remember, at this time, Ijaw elders supported Biafra. The name Biafra was given by a Ijaw man from Adaka Boro's tribe and state, OPIGO. GOWON saw Boro an important tool in his campaign of quelling Ojukwu's rebellion and the opportunity of ingraining the northern love and anchor for the oil rivers they claimed were suffering Igbo domination and subjugation. GOWON released Isaac Adaka Boro from prison and recruited him into the Nigerian army in order to fight Ojukwu and the Igbo. What did Adaka Boro do? He recruited 1,000 Rivers men into army to fight Biafrans. The Nigerian military, led by Adaka Boro, killed all their chiefs and elders who were pro-Biafrans and installed young people like Diet Spiff 23 as the governor. Many of Ijaw elders ran away to exile and never returned because of Adaka Boro. Most of his boys and federal troops would kill Biafran soldiers, strip their camouflage, and use it to constitute different mayhems in the region that people of that place would later accuse it on the Igbo army. Adekunle, the Black Scorpion, committed a lot of atrocities, and you know what? He was working with Adaka Boro. Could you imagine? Adaka Boro led the federal troops to Igbo hinterland and many places in rivers and killed the pro-Biafrans. The worst of Adaka's atrocity was the Opobo incident. What happened? Boro led the Nigerian military to kill a lot of people in Opobo, exiled their chiefs. He believed they are Igbo people. This incident made a lot of people in rivers to start changing their names from Igbo to something else. As you can see today, perhaps this was the reason. Perhaps. The first doctor from Eche was killed by Boro-led army. He did a lot of things. He took Nigerian troops into Eastern Heartland. What happened was that he started making noise, bragging how he has defeated Biafrans. That was when the Nigerian military felt he's no more important and deleted him. Just like, they delete from the system. Delete this virus, perhaps. Many fingers pointed at Adekunle, who was called the Black Scorpion, and as an instrument for Adaka Boro's elimination in May 9, 1968 at Okrika, Rivers State. Remember, by this time, Port Harcourt, Uyo, Calabar, Boni, and many other oil-rich areas have been captured. There was no need for him anymore. He helped the federal troops conquer these places, and of course, they ended him just as they ended Ken SARO WIWA, who did same with Adaka Boro. Then, how did Igbo kill Adaka Boro, whereas everywhere had been captured before he died? How did Igbos betray Adaka Boro? Someone who killed his people and was used by the Fulani Caliphate against himself. Someone who forced Ijaw pro-Biafran chiefs to exile, dethrone and kill them. How did Igbo betray him? How and how? Someone who dealt with Chief Opiogo, his kinsmen, for supporting Biafra. Ken SARO WIWA also used abandoned property to seize Chief Opiogo's properties in Port Harcourt. Chief Opiogo, who named Biafra property, is where Rivers State College of Arts and Science is currently located. Like Adaka Boro, like Ken SARO WIWA, they joined outsiders to kill their own out of hate, jealousy, and strife. The same outsiders killed them because they don't trust anyone who killed his own. In Obasanjo's book called My Command, Olusegun Obasanjo described Boro and his 1,000 soldiers as ill-disciplined, hurriedly and poorly trained rivers men. Alabi Isama's book paints picture of his death in Okrika to be a cleanup from sin, use and dump, someone who organized barracks to train Nigerian army and use paddling techniques and many more to lead federal troops to kill the Igbo. That was how Adaka Boro destroyed himself, by betraying himself, his people, and got killed by those he joined to kill his people. Nobody betrayed him. Is this a case of what happened in Orin that led, they took up the Yoruba man who betrayed his people and was, I don't know, perhaps this is the same case? For the records and healing, the deadly wound still being nursed by the Ijaw of our day. This was why this report was put up. Hello viewers, this is not my article, but we were working towards seeing that we resolve this, and I had to be looking at materials after materials, and I think this one is good for us to look at. We need to deliberate on this. If you have a comment, add on the comment section of this video. Please share this video widely. I am AZUKA OJ. I say bye for now.